Hello, everyone. I would like to remind you that Pat's show is neither affiliated with the NFL or the New England Patriots. It is what it is. And it is time for a kick-ass show. This week, we review the cripple fight that was Patriots versus Buccaneers on Thursday Night Football. Give praise to my new spirit animal, Nick Folk, a Falcon great Patriots fan, if ever there were one. Plus, we welcome Joe Caporoso, a writer for TurnOnTheJets.com. That's funny. He works for a website, which is something that no one has ever done by their own choice with a television. Give you our previews during Butt Fumble Week, and so much more. So without any further ado or fake French football words, it's time for Pat's show. Let's have some theme song. Hit it, you humps! 1, 2, 3, 28. Wow! Let's go! Pat's show! Let's go! Pat's show! Let's talk about Brady and Edelman! Talk about Gronk and the fucking dead! Talk about Leonard and the lonely! Let's talk about Belichick and his team! Let's go! Pat's show! Let's go! Pat's show! Let's go! Pat's show! Let's go! Pat's show! Yeah! How about that, huh? Patriots, pals, football freaks, and gridiron geeks, Foxborough Fanimals of the world, we would like to welcome you once again.
Taken away because of penalty.
We would like to welcome you once again to Who Pressed the Button?
Sorry.
Wow, you really folk that one. All right, I've leaned on the Nick.
All right,
That's my bad. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
He's fired. He's off the show.
Okay.
There's going to be a lot of folking around today.
There's going to be a lot of folking around today. How are we doing, Pat's pals? I, of course, Nick Stevens, your old pal Fitzy, alongside my good buddy, the minister of Pat's propaganda, Mike Dussault, the Deuce.
The Deuce.
Deuce, welcome to the show.
Jamie.
And here we sit, fans of a team with high expectations who are what they are, which is 3-2 in a three-way tie atop the NFC East. But when you survey the landscape of the AFC in general, and then you look at the entirety of the NFL, which has just been a medical waste fire by and large, with people yelling at each other and not living up to expectations and injuries galore. The Giants literally have no wide receivers.
Or wins. Or wins.
Or wins, right. They have as many wide receivers as they do wins. I kind of feel better about the Patriots than I did a week ago, but at the same time, that game was kind of awful. But they snuck out the win.
Yeah, I mean, I was just super psyched to see them force like 6 punts. And, you know, really, the defense, given what we were expected, given a short week against a team you don't know, on the road, all those things, to see them come out and basically actually play 3 quarters of really good football. You know, they gave up 1 drive, which was really, they leaned heavily on Doug Martin on that drive, and you saw kind of some holes in the run defense. But, you know, they went to sleep at the end. But given what we had seen, it was something to build off of at least, and all things considered, you know, you got to feel okay about it at least.
You got to feel okay. I mean, you say 3 quarters of really good football. I say like serviceable, passable, like if the Patriots' effort last week was like a fake ID, it was like McLovin. It was comically bad, but at the same time, it was good enough, and they got the W. Like, I thought they were going to get housed because, or at least that they were going to give up a lot more points, and it was going to be a higher scoring game. I was totally banking on the over because Carolina didn't present the weapons, or so we didn't think they did, in Foxborough the week before. And then here you got Mike Evans, one of the best receivers in football. Here you got the deep threat of Deshaun Jackson. You got Cameron Brate and O.J. Howard, the twin tower double tight end threat. And you got Doug Martin coming back as well, and Jacquizz Rodgers. Plus Jameis Winston, QB talent on the rise. Yet the Pats defense was able to hold them in check. Now, 2 things I think need to be addressed. One, I think we're kind of underselling in general, or we forgot and flew right over the idea that Thursday Night Football, these guys are so banged up. It's hot, unfamiliar opponents. That's a really tough turnaround.
It is. And, you know, again, I mean, they forced like 6 3-and-outs, a couple 4-and-outs. I mean, there was only a couple one sustained drive before the fourth quarter. You know, so they gave up some big plays here and there. And, you know, I mean, there's definitely still holes for this team to work on. But, you know, like we said last week, I think you couldn't really judge the Patriots defense because they were just playing so bad with the big plays on the back end. There were so many big plays that were happening, and it's, you didn't know how good the pass rush really was and those things. So you kind of started to see, well, maybe these are some of the real problems. But I will say, all things considered, it's a pretty good performance, but I also think that Tampa Bay didn't really help themselves in terms of running those bunch sets and those things that have given the Patriots problems. It felt like Tampa Bay was more trying to win with talent than they were, all right, let's really scheme up and do the things that have given the Patriots problems in the previous weeks. They kind of stayed away from that stuff. So we'll see if the Jets change it and do attack those things.
You saying the Patriots had a good performance but still have some things to work on is me being like, well, Harvey Weinstein, I guess, was kind of a creep. It's a little bit of an undersell, but it still gets the job done, I guess, at the end.
Yeah.
And that's the other takeaway. Not only were the Patriots coming off a short week, disappointing loss at home, and now unfamiliar opponent, Thursday Night Football, everybody's banged up. And we'll get to the offensive line woes, which are now officially concerning me much more, because Brady started getting up slowly.
Yeah.
Brady looked like he was carrying with him some of the residual hurt of like that biblical beating that was directed by Mel Gibson in Denver a couple of years ago, that AFC Championship.
Yeah.
He was aching Thursday night, and we were all just hoping he was going to make it through the game. The offensive line was, but I feel like in addition to Nick Folk, who is my new hero, and
Thanks,
I mean I've sent him everything. I mean gifts, edible arrangements, you name it, man. He's my favorite. And what a jet, too, which we can address with Joe in a few minutes. Tampa, it seems like they didn't try to win this game.
Yeah.
The tape is out there. Run the bunch formations. Try to confuse the Patriots. Put too many men out there in the secondary for them to try to figure out with their communication issues. And instead, they try to win it on individual talent, like Deshaun Jackson deep over and over. Mike Evans on the out. And Jameis Winston looked like, at the quarterback position, like he did in the locker room or in the tunnel afterwards, smiling at and admiring Brady, like, wow, man.
I just lost to you. This is awesome.
What an honor it is to lose to you, Mr. Brady. This is amazing. Yeah, the Patriots squeaked by and got the win, and that's what matters most, as much as it seems to me like Tampa, well, in the words of De Niro in Copland, you blew it!
Yeah, it's part of the short week, too. I mean, you can't expect the Tampa Bay, you can only do so much scheming, and the Patriots give you so much to prepare for. So are they going to install a whole new offensive plan? I mean, it's difficult. So, I get what everybody says. Oh, they just, it was handed to them and that, but I think given the circumstances, they overall,
right,
they did enough to win, and that's what you expect. And again, there's so much parity. It's like this is the year, it seems like all of a sudden the NFL actually has parity, and given the Patriots are 3-2, and, so we're okay for now. But,
no, there's parity all over the place. The NFC South is like a 3 or 4-team dogfight at this point. I don't know who wants the NFC West. The NFC East is messier than expected. The AFC North is just a frozen box of cat litter at this point.
Kansas City and everybody
the
else.
The AFC West is interesting. KC's the elite team.
Yeah.
KC is the elite team. Did not see that coming in any way whatsoever. All right, those are our opening thoughts on Patriots Buccaneers. The Pats got the win. They're 3-2, tied for first place in the highly competitive AFC East alongside the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. That's what we had to say. Let's see what our friends on social media had to say in a little segment we call the Best of Patriots Tweedia. So it's a portmanteau. It's a little play on words. It's a little Twitter and media. Okay. All right. I know I was reaching for it with some of my jokes, but talk about reaching for it. What's that? How did that not get called?
I just realized what this guy's Twitter handle was.
How did you not see that? I saw that in prep. Did you not know that?
No, I didn't know. That's a bonus for us on the show.
From somebody named @Costanza Tits. I was happy you included it for that, and then I see.
Yeah. Anybody getting to do what we've always dreamed about, we had to put in the show.
Hey, hands off the goods. Also, a lot of penalties. I mean, 12 for 108 the Pats went
just
for.
Gross, but again.
Those 2 penalties, oh my God, Cassius Marsh.
Yeah, what were they
Dietrich
doing
Wise.
there?
I was less offended by Cassius Marsh's tweet. That's so hard to say. Cassius Marsh's tweet after the game where he yelled at somebody who someone tweeted at him and said cut Marsh, and then he did. What did he write? He was like,
he went
"Yo,
after
you a
him
fake
hard,
ass,
yeah.
you a fake ass fan."
He gave him the full heart.
I F you. You was probably trying to ride my dick last week like a little hoe. Don't hop back on when I get another sack. # fake a fucking fan. Wow, I'm sure Mr. Kraft was thrilled. thrilled with that.
Yeah, there was
Pardon
some
the language. It's a salty episode this week. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
undisciplined
That was
play at
early.
the end of the second half there. Something to keep an eye on.
How about our next one right here? Let's just all rest on the new feeling. #folkface. That was pretty beautiful. I mean, I
Yeah,
guess we
this
kicked
is-
him when he was down too often now.
Talking
How about
penalties.
this play, dude? And this didn't even count for anything.
I
Taken
know.
away.
I
There it
know.
is with the left hand. Taken away because of penalty.
Oh, it's a little one.
And come on, that little push on the shoulder pad. Some of the penalties were well deserved, like Wise, like Marsh. A couple terrible calls on the offensive line, but
Nothing.
That's the ticky tack of
Yeah.
the hands to the face with Gilmore. There were calls all over the NFL this weekend where people there was one in the Green Bay Dallas game, a push in the end zone where they called contact against a defenseless receiver. They barely even touched him too.
Stay out of the game, refs. Just
Right.
let them play.
No one pays to see you. Yep, there it is again. Oh.
Look at that guy. What a great tweeter he is. Folk me.
Oh yeah. I hear Pat's propaganda is the Costanza tits show analysis.
Yeah.
Oh, poor. What was he thinking? What was he feeling? Oh God, the poor son of a bitch at the end of that game.
Yeah.
It must have hurt so bad. You replaced Roberto Aguayo, the guy they drafted the year before from Florida State, with a second-round pick. All you have to do is not miss every kick. If you make one or two of those, they're going for the field goal at the end, and the Patriots lose that game. So Nick Folk was the best player on the field last Thursday night.
Everybody's
the
had
Patriots.
like a bad day. Everybody's had a bad day at work. It still just is crazy to me. Like imagine if you had a bad day at work and there were a million people telling you how much you suck and just so angry
Right.
about your bad day at work.
Yeah.
That's just
It's like when they cut Aguayo, he was just like, I curse this stadium shitty. No one will ever miss a kick and make a kick again. God, poor folk, whatever. That's how we all felt. I agree
Yeah.
with Mike Lombardi 100%.
Just
Pats did
sloppy.
everything they could to keep the
Sloppy.
Bucs. Right?
Yeah.
Just it was
That's
just
end of the second half. I don't know. Or the second quarter. I don't know what was going
Right,
on.
that was 10:47.
very
so that was at halftime.
unpatriocy. Yeah. Very unpatriotic.
We keep using that term, that phrase a lot this year. Very unpatriots-like. Next.
Oh,
Yeah, that face.
Another great two. Oh, it looks like
That
we got our
face.
caller.
Oh, I think we have our first special guest coming in the show.
Here we go.
Here we go. Hey, we're about to welcome in our special guest, so here we go. Ready? Let's do this. I love that we actually answer calls on the show. I'm reception and co-host. Hello, Pat Show.
Hello, how you guys doing today?
Hey, it's Joe Caporoso from Turn On the Jets, everybody. What's up, Joe? Thanks for joining us, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing good. I love the high energy greeting.
Well, that's about all we got. We're trying to make up for the lack of energy, effort, and Patriots-like football that we've been seeing on the field so far this week.
Not that you feel bad for us.
Yeah, not that you feel bad. Yeah. Let's call a guy. Let's call a Jets fan and have him sympathize with Patriots fans. Hey, guy who lives on the street in Brazil, can you feel badly for us Saudi oil princes?
Well, the Jets are 3-2. This is a battle for first place this weekend. I don't think anybody saw it coming, especially you, Joe. You're selling T-shirts that say "Tank" and everything on them. So, what's happened here? The Jets are off to a good start.
Hey, to be clear, I picked the Jets to start 3-3 and then said they would finish 5-11. We are selling a wide range of shirts. We're trying to please everybody. But look, I think all the 0-16 and 1-15 talk was a little ridiculous and an exaggeration. I think the Jets won 5 games last year, and they didn't get notably worse. Yes, they lost some big names, but the big names they lost were either hurt or really ineffective last year, which is why you're seeing all of them contributing absolutely nothing everywhere, much like David Harris is for your Patriots. So, if they were able to win 5 games last year, I didn't think it was crazy to think they could win 5 games this year. And their schedule, first 5 games was conducive to grabbing some wins. Obviously, getting Cleveland, getting Jacksonville coming off their London trip, and then Jay Cutler completely sleepwalking through this season. And credit to the Jets for taking advantage of it. And it's one thing to have winnable games on your schedule, but it's another thing to actually win them. And they've won ugly, but they've found a way to move the ball on offense, get some big plays in the running game, and their rookie safeties have made an immediate impact, and that has really showed on defense.
Yeah, Joe, actually, now that you sort of highlight and give us the insight as to how they could have won those games, like Jacksonville coming off the bye. I mean, the Jets winning in Cleveland, that's like being a grown-up and bragging about winning a wiffle ball game against a bunch of 7-year-olds. But at the same time, you got to get the wins that you got to win. So I was as surprised as anyone else to turn around and see that the Jets were on a 3-game win streak. So could you catch us up on who's actually making plays? We see who they cut. Obviously, Decker hasn't done much. Marshall's probably done with football now. David Harris is the walking dead in Foxborough. Who, aside from the safeties who are great, who's some of the new blood that's making plays, and who's turning heads, and who's actually helping the Jets with this surprisingly good start?
Offensively, it's been a mix of a lot of different players, particularly running backs, Bilal Powell and Elijah McGuire. Both were pretty quiet against Cleveland, but both ripped off touchdown runs over 65 yards in the win against Jacksonville. That was really where the Jets got their offense from. Last week, the defense, led by Morris Claiborne, has been a nice free agent addition from Dallas. Not who you would expect. Muhammad Wilkerson and Leonard Williams have 0 sacks combined through 5 games. It's been the secondary, Claiborne, the 2 rookie safeties, and a bunch of random guys that weren't even on the team in August. Coney Ealy, another guy you're familiar with, has been very good. He has an interception, a sack, 4 or 5 passes knocked down. He's arguably been the Jets' best player in their front 7, although he did miss last week. They also picked up a guy, David Bass, who joined the team 3 weeks ago, but currently leads them in sacks with 2 and is already playing 50-plus snaps a game. So It's going to be a lot of new faces you guys see out there for the Jets.
Yeah, we're talking with Joe Caporoso from Turn on the Jets. You can follow him on the tweet box at Joe Caporoso. So basically what you see with the Jets now is this kind of serviceable, part Bad News Bears, part up-and-coming rookie squad. Just like a kind of a likable, dependable team with a lot of other teams' spare parts, some cast-offs with your Safarian Jenkins, your Ely's, Jermaine Kearse, like you said, he was a throw-in the Sheldon Richardson trade. And then you add in a little bit of, everyone counted us out. Everyone said we were going to be 0-16. Nobody believes in us, all that. Now they turn around and they're playing competitive football. Maybe they've got some lumber coming up. I want to ask you as Jets fan and to the entirety of like Jets Nation, et cetera, does this fly in the face of what you wanted to see this year? Because I don't know what it was. Suck for luck. What's the catchphrase for tanking for Darnold or something like that?
It was suck for Sam, but
Suck
there's
for
been a
Sam.
few different ones.
Okay, so does the Jets actually
like Rosen or Allen? But
right.
Yeah, suck for Sam was the most popular one.
So suck for Sam was the mantra heading into the season, but now you guys already have 3 wins on the year. You can sneeze, or by accident, given the parity in the NFL this year or the number of injuries that there have been, you could end up 5-11 or 6-10, and would that reset the plans? Would that hurt the franchise, or how do you feel about the fact that the Jets are winning more games than expected?
It's an ongoing debate among Jet fans every single week. Again, just watching this team for as long as I have, I am not shocked that in a year where everybody wanted to see them, most people wanted to see them lose as many games as possible, they're going to win probably more games than many expected, which is why I thought 5-11, 6-10 was probably the most reasonable. I think you could argue it both ways, right? You do want to build a culture, and you do have a lot of young pieces, and you want them getting the experience of winning games, even if it's winning ugly. You don't build anything by going 0-16 or 1-15 or missing the playoffs 7 straight years in a row. I mean, you can look at Cleveland. Everybody spent this entire offseason blowing smoke up Cleveland and the San Francisco 49ers management, saying how smart and savvy they were. Both of those teams are 0-5, and I'm not sure, why Hugh Jackson at 1-20 as a head coach, if they're really building anything worthwhile there in Cleveland. So there's pros and cons both ways. Ultimately, when it all shakes out, and the Jets are picking 8th or 9th instead of 2nd or 3rd, and they're going to have to trade up to get a quarterback, or are not going to be able to get a quarterback, there's going to be some understandable frustration at that point. But the players don't tank, right? Coaches don't tank. They're all getting out. They're all on tape every single week. They're all playing for their next contract. So it is encouraging as long as the young players are playing well. Then you just have to hope that you could find a way to get the most out of your draft pick. I mean, I would say Deshaun Watson, he could have been the first overall pick in the draft, but if people passed on him, he didn't end up going to number 12. So maybe something like that happens again this year, where you could find your guy in that 9 to 12, 15 range.
Yeah, I was just going to say that maybe like falling to Watson, like Watson falling to 12, could be something where a guy that could be the perfect fit for your team next year maybe happens. Once again, talking with Joe Caporoso from Turn on the Jets, and I believe Mike wanted to ask you a question about. We want to get away from the Jets winning now and move on to. Is it Jets week or is it butt fumble week? By the way.
Outdated reference.
I know. Actually, I hate myself for doing that, and I feel like we have to just be post butt fumble in this one. We had our fun with it now. Different, just because you got Brady and Belichick, different team, different culture. Time to move on.
Well, Joe, you got the Patriots now. They're coming in, and obviously, you got Tom Brady, your old friend, but you got to be looking at the Patriots defense, which, granted they looked a little better on Thursday night, but I mean, ranked at or near the bottom of the league in every statistical category. So, what are your thoughts on this Patriots team coming in, and what do you think the Jets have to do to win the game and move to first place in the AFC East?
Oh my God.
I mean, the theoretical formula to beat New England is you want to keep the ball out of McCown's hands as much as possible, and you want to lean on that running game. Hopefully you get Bilal Powell suiting up this week. You hope they break some big plays, get creative and hit a shot down the field to Robbie Anderson. As we know, the Pats have been susceptible to giving up big plays down the field. So you hope that you're eating up clock, you're moving the chains, and you're able to pop a few big plays here or there. And then defensively, they're going to have to force some turnovers. They're going to have to win the special teams battle. They're probably going to have to break out, a trick play or something. This is like a kitchen sink type game because, I know these teams have identical records, but there's a reason that New England is 9-point favorites despite being on the road. And, I have a feeling this will probably play out somewhat similar to the Jets' Oakland game where they were hanging around in the first half, but eventually the talent disparity eventually wears. And I would not be surprised at all if New England was able to cover that number.
I don't know, man. I'll tell you honestly, I'm as big as they call him up here of a Pat's apologist, a Brady lover, a hoodie footy pajama wearer. I sleep in the Brady pajamas and I eat the bulgur wheat tacos and everything. And I just can't see the Patriots deserving to be even. They have the same record right now. Anybody can win a game any week. I don't see the Pats deserving to be a 9-point favorite against anybody, let alone a game on the road. Sure, look at the 53 on each side, and maybe the Pats are better. And yeah, it starts with the head coach and the quarterback, obviously. If Brady loses a game in McCowntown, I'm sure they'll be looting in the streets. It'll be like the purge in New England. But how can the Jets? The Jets can pose challenges to them with bunch formations. We know Belichick's long-standing love affair, Ed Reed style with Bilal Powell, and maybe. If you saw the swinging gates and the subway turnstiles that were the Patriots' offensive linemen against the Bucs, who's to say, that Leonard Williams and maybe a couple of blitzing safeties can't get into the backfield and make Brady's day a nightmare?
Yeah, look, I mean, these games have been competitive, particularly the ones at MetLife over the past few years, not necessarily the ones in New England, but I believe the last 4 times the Jets have played the Patriots at home, they've all been one-possession games that came down to the final quarter. So usually the Jets, whatever their record is, get up for this game and play above their talent level. So I think the thing is you hang around, you take as many punches as you can, and then you hope you can make a big play or two late. And if the Jets win this game, I think that changes the entire narrative and discussion of what this season is and what the ceiling of this team could be. I don't think they're there yet with who they've beaten, but if you beat New England and you get yourself to 4-2, and get an early game up on them, and you have Miami coming up next, who certainly does not look very good, I think that changes the discussion of this season. You start wondering, can this team get to 500, get slightly over 500? Are they in the mix, actually, to compete for a playoff spot? They need to go win that game, and they're not going to be able to do that if they play at the level they did last week against Cleveland. The Jets won that game, but Cleveland had 3 trips inside the Jets' 5-yard line and came up with 0 points. Interception, a fumble, turnover on downs, and they missed 2 chip shot field goals. So you're not going to get that every single week. The Jets are going to have to play a much better game, and if they can, sure, any given Sunday, anything could happen.
I think my favorite thing you said, Joe, is the idea of a culture change, because it took an establishment of a culture change in New England, and maybe that's what they're trying to do now. Sure, they may go 4-12, 5-11, 6-10. But it's about establishing a culture change. And I think that's what's led to the lofty expectations in New England and why people are so shocked. It's just tough to win games. They don't have the same team that won the Super Bowl back in February. So when you're dealing with expectations and a culture change, the Pats could possibly be going in the wrong direction, and they're trying to right the ship. And the Jets are going definitely in the right direction when there were no expectations whatsoever. And now you guys are playing with house money, and I can't believe you said that. The Jets are playing for first place in the AFC East in the middle of October. This is amazing, man. And by the way, thank you so much for Nick Folk.
Another guy the team let go that is just flaming out elsewhere. Eric Decker, Brandon Marshall, Revis and Mangold without jobs, Harris, Falk, been across the board.
Yeah, unbelievable. Well, like I said earlier, you can follow Joe, one of the best Jets fans out there. He's a great read and a good guy. And I hear, and you're not a backdoor Pats fan, right?
What? No, I am. My in-laws are unfortunately required me to watch
Oh my
a
God.
couple Jets games at random bars in Dorchester when I'm up there for the weekend, which is not the most pleasant experience. But look, you gotta do what you gotta do for the family sometimes.
What a man. All right, you can follow him on Twitter at Joe Caporoso. Go to turnonthejets.com to check him out. Great guy, good fan, easy to root for except for maybe twice a year. Joe Caporoso, thanks for joining us,
Joe.
Great talking to you, buddy.
Just hit end on that thing.
Yep, I did. I pressed the button. Joe's great.
All right.
Joe's
He
like,
is.
I mean, just like it's fun to like that. That's what you want to get. You want to get that kind of insight. That's professional analysis, but brought to you with true fan passion and perspective.
I think that's what we try to do here, right? You know?
Exactly. Yeah, but we've won 5 Super Bowls and
Nah,
so he's the
it's easier when you're playing with
He's the
house
easy
money.
guy to love, and we're the easy guys to hate. Real quick, as we turn the page, obviously now we're on to the Jets. It's Jets week. Oh yeah, by the way, that was the last couple things in Tweetia we didn't get a chance to get to. Hey, when Giants fans bring up the past Super Bowls, oops, 0-5.
That's for you.
I think there were 1 or 2 more real quick. Yeah, this is really, I can't believe it took us 30 minutes to get into the show, Mike. We buried the lead, as our pal at Patriots SB49 points out. That was yesterday he tweeted this. It's been 247 days since we've had a championship in Boston. What are we going to do? Think of the children, damn it. In my head every morning it's a Sarah McLachlan song with a splash of Adele. And then last night, with the premiere of The Last Jedi trailer, your pants
Yeah.
how about the fact that they do the promo, because it's so Disney-fied, with the stormtroopers on the field? I think this is the tweet of the week. Finally, the NFL shows respect for the troops. That's the best. That's the best. That's why Twitter, that's why social media exists. That's the best. Mike, just a last touch on Tampa, but this is actually more about this. We talked about this with Joe a little bit too.
Yeah.
They have good, decent young corners there with the Jets. They've got really, really aggressive, strong safeties. That kid out of LSU is dynamite.
Yeah.
Good defensive line still. The Pats' offensive line is woeful, and now it's not just like with the Googe. Now it's in the Scarnecchia days again, and I'm not sure. Are they banged up? Did people just like regress? Joe Tooney concerns me a little bit. He gets pushed back far too often for somebody who's playing next to somebody who's having even more problems.
Yeah, I think Andrews and Tooney have had their problems. I think the guy that stands out to everybody is Nate Solder, and any football analyst you read who watches the Patriots points out Nate Solder just doesn't look right, which is never a good sign. They managed him in camp. He really didn't, he was out of practice. They're giving him personal days off. They're definitely managing him, and I think when you look at what they kept Cameron Fleming and Waddle, you're going to keep 3 tackles. It's a sign that, I don't know if Nate Solder ends this season as the starting left tackle on this team. Not to say that they would necessarily trade him. I just don't know if he's going to last that long. And he's certainly... Oh, we got questions. Oh, we got some questions.
We got a quick question. Jason Bourgeois, you're already taking the show away for a penalty false start. All right, that's enough out of you, young man. Here we go. Peter Enright writes in, the Tampa game was slow to watch. I was there. Thank God Nick wasn't there or we had never gotten the W. All right. I'm the one. Listen, it's not about the road games. I'm the one with a self-imposed ban. I said I'm not going back to Gillette. Maybe I don't even know if I can.
Yeah.
If they lose 3 this year, what's it going to take to be able to get back?
I don't know. You might have to go to the Jets game this weekend. Maybe that's
what I have to do. Maybe I should go to the road games as well. Scott Angelmeyer has a good question. Do you think we're ever going to hear the full fallout as to why Coney Ely, who's played very well for the Jets and who they're going to face this weekend, why he fell out of favor with Belichick? Thank you very much, Aaron.
Yeah, a lot going on there. A lot going on there.
How come that's a great question. Why do you think, Mike, I'll get back to the solar thing in a second, but it's a good question. Why would Coney Ely fall out of favor so quickly in New England? Fall out of favor so quickly in Carolina, then here, but then go to the Jets, fit in, and then knock down passes, get sacks, fumbles. Wow.
Well, I think the film was clear. I mean, there was probably stuff going on behind the scenes too. I don't know if you remember, he missed the first day of camp. I don't know if he didn't show up or something. There was something weird going on again. We never got that story. But I mean, when we watched the tape, it was obvious he couldn't pick up what the Patriots were asking him to do.
Right.
I don't know if he was in his own head trying to figure out what the scheme was. And I think we mentioned it last week. It just seems like in Jets, there's no real expectations. You just go get the quarterback. It's an easier kind of scheme fit to for him. And so. I don't know. I think it's a combination of a few different things, but I don't know. I couldn't look at the tape of watching him play in the preseason and be like, we need to keep this guy. I mean, he was terrible, and he looked terrible there, and now he's playing well, so, good for him. But you wish he could have done that here, but...
Right. Because it turns into one of those, why can't we get those guys, guys all over the league. Exactly. But like you said, it's not even I don't even take it to be a subtle dig or anything.
Yeah.
When you say it may just be a simpler scheme and it's easier to just have one job. You had one job, and I guess Coney Ely has a job there, and he's doing it better, and it's a more complicated scheme. Again, which may also speak to the early season issues with the defense and why they are always truly the biggest work in progress versus the offense. If you don't click with Brady, you don't see the field for down one at any point during the season, and that's why you see Dola being so dependable. That's why he loves him some Gronk, and that's why Hogan, who is quickly emerging as the MVP of the
5
offense
touchdowns.
2017.
Yeah.
God, that guy. You want to talk about maybe the next jersey to invest in? Grab a Dola or maybe a Hogan, man.
Yeah.
Those
Dola, I mean, we got to talk about Danny Amendola just for a second here. I did a little Danny Amendola appreciation post, patspropaganda.com. Check it out. But the thing I found fascinating is you go back to 2013, in the fourth quarter on third downs, his catch rate is 80%, which is, he's catching 80% of the balls that come at him in those critical situations. Fourth quarter, third downs, which is, that's when you're trying to seal the game, you're trying to get, that's a critical moment. 80%. Edelman's down near 60, Welker was down near 60, Gronk down near 58. Everybody's down there, and so it just backs up what you think you've seen with Danny Amendola, which is that the guy is clutch, and we're seeing it now. And if he can really put in a 16-game season now, we might finally see that 100-catch season we thought we might have seen on him when he was going to be the Welker replacement.
Yeah, if I could just drive that Jaguar all year and not have to take it into the shop. Not going to happen.
That is an apt comparison.
But that said, I would never be one to want to, I'm never going to talk down the Dola. The dude is,
legend.
The dude is as
he's on the statue,
He's getting up there.
Yeah.
The guy that was brought in to replace Welker but never turned into the real Welker replacement, yet has carved out his own
clutch
niche with the offense.
Yeah.
Honey, I got to take the car into the shop. It's not changing gears. Why? Oh, the Dola's out. That's why. Because he is clutch. He is so good. The big catch against Houston. Huge in Tampa as well, man.
Yeah.
Love him. Love him to pieces. But the big thing on the offense, I think they need to do, like you said, Solder's not right. If I'm the Pats right now, man, I'm all in. I get on the phone, like we were talking with Joe about the Browns. They're the biggest mess in football. Again, no matter how many times you try to give them a bailout, no matter how many times they become one of these banks that just gets a big Wall Street loan, like a Goldman Sachs loan from the NFL, got to go get Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
Just bail him out of there. Just convince him. Convince him it would be fun to come win. Offer up. It's worth it. If you're this happy losing, Joe, what would it be like if you won? You have no idea what joy there would be in your life.
It's like I said before. I don't think it's out of the question. I think that's a great idea. I just still think it's a very good possibility that your tackles going into the playoffs, hopefully assuming, is Fleming and Cannon,
You just shut your whore mouth right now. You just shut your lying pirate hooker mouth right now. Fleming and Cannon, I can't do it. I would never trust that law firm. I would never go there no matter how desperate the situation is. Real quick, even though here we are busting the Pats' chops, but that's what we do because we just try to provide you real, honest, fan-based football analysis. This week on the Hot Takedown, the Hot Takedown. Hot Takedown. HT, the Hot Takedown. Hot Takedown. Mike, I read something from a guy that I love following on Twitter, Dave Lozo, at Dave Lozo, L-O-Z-O. He wrote an article last week for Vice, which I enjoy reading, which I watch on the hobo every now and again. Rejoice, the New England Patriots suck. All right. Okay. There are issues, okay? It's not the same team. They're having trouble. How many other years since they won their first Super Bowl would you say people jumped all over the end of the dynasty? This is the year they suck. It's finally over. And isn't this a little bit of a preemptive call? Like, it might be pretty early to be making this prediction.
Well, I mean, the 2015 team started 10-0, and then it just fell off a cliff. So, you know, I don't know. It's people are going to overreact in September. I mean, they've been waiting for football forever, and it's part of the process. You know, they always have a game where they look terrible in September. I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 seasons where they haven't had that game. So, you know, it's just something to write about, and everybody's waiting for it. And I think, unfortunately, what I kind of realized is, you know, I mean, it is going to end at some point with like the Belichick and the Brady thing, and it's going to be people are going to be excited. They're going to be excited to kill the Patriots when it does actually happen. You know, when it's December and they're like, oh God, they might not make the playoff. You know, that kind of stuff. Not that we're there yet, but you know.
Brady will never give it to you. You read the 4 agreements. That's the whole thing. He's never going to give them that delight. He'll never give them that joy. It's all about not reacting and not giving somebody else your power. Brady will soon retire or go out on top before he ever gives people the joy of watching them go 6-10.
It'd make it easier on us.
It would be. Either that or I'm going to buy that 49ers Brady jersey and start. What would happen?
Yeah.
Real quick, wouldn't you, if, God forbid, let's just, real quick before we wrap up. No, well, I entertain these thoughts. I spend a lot of time in the car. It's a commuter culture, damn it. I'm stuck in my own creepy spider web of thoughts and weird worst case scenarios. I play war games. What if he did? You know, like they're holding on to Garoppolo now. They got to be for a reason, aside from the fact that they know the offensive line is banged up. If you wanted to spin him, you could have held on to Brissett. He's holding up pretty darn well in Indianapolis.
Prepare yourself. It's probably an 80% chance that it's going to end messy somehow. I mean, you know, as much as we all want to see Brady win a Super Bowl and ride off into the sunset, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be one of those, you know.
What the hell are you talking about?
Prepare yourself now.
What
happened?
Shut your blind mouth!
Thou art Margulis, mofos. Life has a 100% mortality rate, and this is how it goes. I was thinking the other day, I was just driving someplace, and I was like, okay, let's say Brady did walk away, and he was like on the Niners, and even though they're like a complete oil rig fire.
It makes sense, yeah.
If the Pats were on at the same time as Brady on another team, I was like, what game would I watch?
No, come on, you're a Patriots fan. Come on. Define that right now. You're a Patriots fan.
I know. What is that? Wow, this sounds definitely like the kind of conversation we would only entertain if we knew it was Jets week. On any other week, I would never do this. It would be all about the game. It's like, come on, it's Jets week.
Yeah.
All right, so wrapping things up, score prediction this week. I think it's going to be a little tighter than you do.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel good about this week. I don't know. I feel like they've had some time off. They're going to, I think, pull it together. I'd say, 30-14, something like that. I think it'll be a solid Patriots win. It'll be close, maybe close, like Joe said. First half, they'll kind of hang together. Patriots pull away.
Couple trick plays maybe from the Jets. Couple little razzle.
They'll do what they got to do.
Wide receiver pass. They'll throw a wildcat in there, something. Who knows? And 1 or 2 of them will catch them off guard. It is Josh McCown. It is a team that was predicted to finish dead last. They're keeping up with the Pats for a while, yes. But I still think there are too many issues to work out with the Pats. I just don't think there's enough firepower. Maybe the return of Burkhead now that he is expected to play. Maybe Gronk having that surprise thigh injury and not playing in Tampa. I don't know if that
would have played if it was a Sunday, they think.
Yeah, they think, okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe having the offense, probably the first week they'll have the entire offense back since kickoff.
Yeah.
Or as healthy as the offense can be together.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll help, but I have it a little bit tighter. I have Patriots 23, Jets 19. I got a little bit of a squeaker, kid. I got a squeaker. Look, let me put that out there now so that if... Are you cheering for the reality? In my scenario, the Jets could win with the last-minute touchdown, just like if Jameis Winston completed his. I don't want to see that. But hey, listen, if it's more like yours than mine, then we're all much happier come Sunday night and Monday. And next week on Pat's show, we are partying because it's going to be Falcons week. Actually, that's the parade getting ready to put out the fire because we're going to burn it down next week. Hey, speaking of things that are roasting, what a great time to remind you of our sponsor this week, everybody. Once again, Pat's show is brought to you by our good friends at Joey Kramer's Rockin' and Roastin' Coffee. Visit rockinandroastin.com right now and use promo code PATSHOW, PATSHOW, for free shipping and 15% off your order. Who doesn't love getting a little Hogan off their order, right? I had fun this week. I hope you guys did as well. Once again, you can visit our guest, Joe Caporoso, at turnonthejets.com and follow him at Joe Caporoso. Mike runs patspropaganda.com, and you can follow him at patspropaganda. And, of course, I'm that hump and bum from Townie News, and you can follow me all over your socials at Fitzy GFY. let's just savor last week one last time. Upon further review, let's bask in the ineptitude and the jet-like joys of Nick Folk absolutely folking things up for the Buccaneers. This was brought to you by NFL Memes, a perfect redux of what every Tampa fan must have been thinking when he missed those 3 field goals.
Well, it is Nick Folk from 56 yards. This guy is absolutely terrible, so he's probably going to miss it. Here's a snap. Yeah, it is not even fucking close. Wide right. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, by the way, this is NSFW.
Today, and I have a feeling it's just going to get worse. 48 yards now for Nick Folk. Definitely going to miss this one. Yep. Fucking way left. Unbelievable. This guy sucks. The head coach is pissed. And look at this. Even the fans are like, oh my God. Why is this dude kicking? Well, this one's a gimme, 31 yards. My sister could make it with her opposite foot. Here's a snap, and no fucking way! He missed it, unbelievable! Nick Folk, everybody. Wow, Belichick's like, oh my goodness, that guy blows.
Yeah, he does. He's our absolute favorite. That is why we internet. The Patriots are why we Pat Show. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Follow us everywhere. Hit us up with questions. Tell your friends about the show. Go Pats. It's Butt Fumble Week. We're on to the Jets, and we will talk to you next Tuesday.
1, 2, 3, 28. Wow.